Frightening, you know, you got a lot of vehicles out here, you've got kids that could be out playing.
User Verfolgungsjagd live auf ABC 7.
See that vehicle. We hadn't known it was here.
Aha,
and they came
LKW.
in and just
Ich
slammed
schwör auf alles
into the side
LKW.
of that semi with their armored vehicles. So now you have two vehicles, and they're both really heavy. I'm not sure. I've never seen
Live
it, but
Motherfucking
maybe they can do a
Verfolgungsjagd.
pit
Aha,
maneuver
Traktor. Junge,
with
was
that
das für ein
armored
Panzer?
vehicle.
Ey,
The
da ist
semi
ein
tries to
Mann.
make a turn at a slow enough rate of speed, and they can get behind it and hit the rear. They can get it to spin out. There's no way with the center of gravity on a semi like this, a tractor portion, that it's going to overturn. As long as it doesn't have too high a rate of speed. But if he comes up behind it right now and he makes a turn,
60 km/h.
and you can tap him right in the rear of the vehicle, he could possibly get him to spin out. But one of the reasons I don't think he did that, there was a vehicle in that
Stolen
intersection.
Semi-Truck.
Two heavy
Aha,
vehicles.
hat einfach einen
That's
Truck geklaut.
extremely
1:1
dangerous.
GTA.
But wow, we saw that came out of nowhere. I did not see that coming when the armored vehicle slammed into that semi.
That was unbelievable. That came really, it was a shock. And again, I've never seen an armored vehicle attempt to do
Wie viel
a
km/h?
maneuver, or at least get so involved.
Wo ist die km/h-Anzeige? Die war doch gerade eben noch da.
But now you have that armored vehicle following this tractor.
Boah, guckt euch das mal an, was für ein Wagen. Guck mal, du kannst hier raus pieken und dann schießen.
Philip Palmer is also with us. You obviously
das ist echt ein kranker
Scott Rice
Wagen.
is with us, as well as Bruce Thomas. We're following this.
Aber ich würde gerne immer noch die km/h-Anzeige sehen. Die ist wieder weg.
40 minutes or so, 45 minutes.
So 60, 70 km/h sind das circa.
This is a stolen tractor. We know that there is a passenger inside there. We have been confirmed from the CHP that there is a passenger who's being held against their will. Now you're seeing this. They exactly, Scott. You know, Philip, if you want to join us.
Well, I was going to say we learned a lot in the last couple of minutes. One of which is I don't know that that person is being held against their will, given the fact that they reached out, grabbed something, got back into the car. So that might have changed things, and we've seen that they are ready to stop this chase. As Scott zoomed in a moment ago, you can see the damage done to one of the fuel tanks on the back from where the SWAT vehicle hit it. On the other side, Scott, we could see that it basically
Die sind sogar zu zweit.
Yeah, but we didn't see anything come out of it,
so
we didn't see it lose a lot of fuel.
Yeah, it's already empty. Who knows?
Ja, jetzt geht's los.
We're back in the same spot though, Philip, and you know we're following along, just watching.
Sind zu zweit drin eine Geisel? Nein, hat es gesagt?
It wasn't behind
Rice, the Rams
out
truck
of nowhere came
chasing.
that armored vehicle and slammed right into the side. Obviously, they were hoping they
Nein,
could have done damage right there or pinned the vehicle, so this would have been over. But we're in a residential area now. This is
keine
really
Geisel.
frightening. You know, you got a lot of vehicles out here. You've got kids that could be out playing. We don't see high rate of speed, but you know, you can't just hit the brakes on that semi and expect it to stop real quick. There might be a pit maneuver. I really believe they're thinking about it. They just need an area that is safe, and then that semi-tractor to make a turn at a slow enough rate of speed where they can hit it from behind and get that spun out, and then hopefully get them to stop. But boy, certainly, Philip, you can't get this to stop.
Das andere Auto.
They can go through vehicles.
Das live, ja klar.
Continue up onto the sidewalk. It's really difficult to stop this, but now we know the strategy: a pit maneuver or even ramming that tractor.
Well, that's the thing. Clearly, at a high rate of speed, this vehicle.
Ich glaube nicht, dass das eine Geisel ist, Chat.
Even at very, very low speeds, it can just plow through things.
Ich glaube, das ist keine Geisel.
One more time that we were just looking at. This is what I'm talking about. See how
Was hat da genommen? Autoschlüssel oder so?
So that's what made me think, okay, this is no longer a person against their will. He is a participant. Now, I could be wrong.
Oh, wie hat das noch geschafft?
Coerced to do that. But something was on the roof of that vehicle that he very specifically reached out, got it, and that's when they took their shot. Is when they tried to move him over. But now, if Bruce is still around, you know, Bruce, that gives the person in the cab of that truck an idea as to also what the police are thinking.
Also das Ding ist
when
schnell.
they go that aggressively to try to get him to stop.
Aber
you know, I have actually never seen a ramming with a Bearcat like that before, but I think what they've determined is there is no way to stop this big rig cab with that. I mean, you can't do a pit maneuver. Car, so having a Bearcat is what they need.
There, here we go, Bruce. Interrupt you and go back.
Oh, they pinned him in. It's an undercover vehicle. They're out of their cars. Their guns are going to be drawn. They have him pinned somewhat, but with a semi-tractor like that, if he puts it in reverse, he'll just push those vehicles behind him away. But right now they've got him surrounded. The Bearcat pulled in front just moments ago. We're at Franklin and Beach Street in the Anaheim area, and at least for now what we have is a standoff, and we haven't seen the suspects try and drive that vehicle ever since the Bearcat pulled in front. But
ja, dann scheiß auf Maus.
Cover vehicles, there's 3 of them there. There's more Fontana PD. This is a caper I'm sure they were on way back in Fontana. They know who this individual is. They're not going to let him get away. They're not going to let him make a run for it. I have suspect that this is a hardened criminal. They've been following, and
ich glaube, die können auch nicht rein, weil hat echt einen Geisel.
Right now we just have a standoff, but look at all the Fontana PD officers. And he's getting out. It looks like the door is opening right now. It's a critical moment.
Scott, you may not be able to see it, but the passenger is also out, hands up.
Right.
So that person on the other side is out right now, and then now they're trying to get to the driver.
Yeah, this is a critical moment right now. When the driver gets out, they don't know what they're dealing with, but if this driver makes a sudden move, they have guns drawn on this individual, and right now it looks like he is cooperating with their commands. He's probably going to back up, maybe open his shirt up or pull it up to make sure there's nothing in his waistband, but more than likely he'll be down on the ground here in a moment. And at this point in time, we don't know what they think about the passenger, if that's a suspect or if that is someone, as we mentioned, may have been held against their will. That will depend on how they treat that individual, but they have to get that person in custody. They have. And now you can see they're moving on to the passenger. And the passenger does not appear to be an individual that was held against their power or kidnapped and wants to give themselves up. It looks like they're actually not obeying the commands of officers right now. They have their guns drawn on that individual. It's a scary moment. Be careful with your shot. If they have to open fire, which they look pretty intense right now, and it doesn't look like the passenger is just willingly giving themselves up.
Yeah, but we did see that passenger open the door right away once that tractor was surrounded.
Rot fehlt, ja, Rot fehlt bei diesem Ding, ne?
Came up, so they have been right there. So
ein dicker Typ aus Hamburg, Alter, der drauf reactet.
To see if that person is not doing the commands. But again, we're obviously, they are very careful, and you can see what a powerful show of force, because you see so many of the undercover cars that were involved, because at first Philip,
und wo ist der andere? Der andere hat immer noch Arme oben
so many
einfach.
swarm right into this location. Really unbelievable.
Well, at that spot where they aggressively slammed into the side, it almost looked as if there was an undercover SUV in that parking lot, because they actually ran into that.
Verfolgungsjagd.
But this is an interesting thing, because he's got something in his hand.
Right.
And he's not
Die haben in sein Knie geschossen.
They can actually, it seems to me,
in sein Knie.
The cab of a third person. It seems as if that is also something they needed to make sure they did. So now you've got this one person, and they're not going to get on the other side, because you don't want to put officers in the line of fire.
Lass mich mal hier ganz kurz Verfolgungsjagd machen, ich komme gleich.
Whatever that is on the ground. That might be what he picked up off of the roof of that vehicle.
I'm not quite sure, but we'll obviously.
Ich sage, kriegt auch einen Tritt in seinen Rücken. Guck mal, was sie jetzt mit ihm machen. Tschüss, Alter, ich hätte in Amerika so Angst, mal etwas falsch zu machen.
Do exactly what you're told and not put up a fight. But we saw them. These suspects get very close to law enforcement, and then.
Aha, und guck mal, jetzt treten die hier in seinen Rücken wieder. Und tack. Ah nein.
Well, what was also very interesting to me, when you try to put yourself in the mind of these two people, when that SWAT vehicle pulled around,
haben die auseinandergenommen, der Arme.
Rifle trained right through that front windshield in the direction at them, that pretty much changed everything, because if you notice that SWAT right out of the top hatch, there was an officer right there, and he had his weapon pointed straight through the front windshield. So that's going to change your very quickly.
El Bernardo, dann wieder den 7. Schatz.
That's what ended this.
Very dramatic.
Without further incident.
Absolutely. You know, we have been watching this pursuit, and you know, I don't want to not kind of discuss the one moment when you saw that Bearcat ram the tractor at the very beginning, when we saw the Bearcat being introduced to part of this pursuit. There was somebody inside that it looked like it was a large black SUV, and they were parked there. They didn't even see it coming. I was thinking they certainly weren't in park, or maybe that car wouldn't have been able to be pushed forward. So we'll certainly find out how that car is doing. But I don't think they suffered any injuries but they had to be so startled. It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was the vehicle.
We'll get back to where we were.
We always seem to be waiting for the canines to show up.
Earlier, we kind of hate to go.
Guck mal, hier ist er 80 km/h gefahren.
Is not confirmed that there could have been someone on board that vehicle against fact, and calling the jump Fullerton area just.
It has at least 10, possibly 12
Einfach
wheels.
so.
Do they try to do a spike strip, an industrial, commercial size spike strip? Do you know, Scott?
Einfach ein Truck geklaut.
I think Josh, my cameraman, said he did see a passenger, so he was able to confirm that. It looks like a hand is out of the window right now. I don't believe they'll use a spike strip in a situation like this, at least not initially. They may try. I haven't seen them do it on a semi before, but that doesn't mean they could not do it. But in order to do that, you'd want to make sure that you get this vehicle in an area where you can get the units in front of them safely.
Scott, you're joining us now. I was saying how this driver seems to be very.
Oh, schade, dass man nie sieht, wie er das geklaut hat, ne? Und hier haben die ihn schon gesichtet. Tschüss, was passiert hier? Rechts, so Vollidiot, hä?
We can sort of see what you end up having to go through, Scott, when you're trying. It's amazing that how you and your colleagues.
Wie viel Uhr ist es jetzt in Amerika? Es ist doch jetzt voll früh, ne? 10 Uhr morgens oder so.
It's just a miracle, it seems like. It really is like a needle in the haystack when you guys go from such a wide view to then zero in, and you, like you did, you got it right back on target.
Kommt drauf an, wo? Ich glaube, das ist so Los Angeles oder so. West Valencia Drive.
The speeds are too great, too dangerous, and they're like, I want to get out. I don't want to be a part of this. Or it can be somebody that is not there willingly, which now presents a problem for law enforcement.
Guck mal, hier steht sogar 10 Uhr, stimmt.
Kidnapping or an abduction type situation.
Da steht sogar 10:30 Uhr.
It is very scary to see. That's why we keep kind of zooming in and taking a look inside the cab. Just the vantage point.
Maybe 3 or 4.
Guck mal, FBI oder alles, hä? Auch was für eine lange Kolonne. Oh, guck mal, hier wollten die einmal an. Oh! Er ist schon einmal abgehauen. Und ihr hattet recht, hier ist echt der Tank. Er hat echt den Tank kaputt gemacht.
As Bruce mentioned, there were 6 Fontana patrol cars behind this, and they haven't got other jurisdictions involved, which is somewhat unusual. But right now we have a standoff. Behind the semi, you see the the Fontana police officers behind their vehicles with a K9 ready to go. And right now, more than likely, they're trying to establish communication, get that individual out of that semi, and hope that doesn't happen, that they continue to roll forward. But you have a much better look than I do.
Trust me, mit dem redet, hä?
Monitor isn't that good, but it looks like he may be trying to actually speak with the deputies or the officers behind him.
Yeah, and then you see him kind of slowly making their way, almost waving to him. But what I don't know if you saw, because you have a limited vantage point where you are, the driver opened the door and then threw something out of the vehicle.
Ja.
We don't exactly know where.
Ist vorbei. Amerika hat so krasse Langeweile. Irgendein Channel geht einfach live für Leute und nimmt eine Verfolgungsjagd auf. Wie krank ist das?